Okay, we're going to talk about one-sided piecewise functions now. I'm just going to remind you about piecewise. Piecewise is when you have a function that's been separated into two parts, and the heights of the two parts. So let's look at the height of the two parts coming from the left and right don't agree. That leaves this big gap. So technically a function doesn't exist, but right here. But all of a sudden, if you change that, you say, well, but let's look at just the left side. Well, if you look at just the left side will be this function right here. And now you plug a 0 in, 0 squared subtract 1, you actually have a height. You have a height of -1. So that's what we're going to look at. In fact, this function, I probably did too much. So look at what we have. We're going to look at this piecewise function only from the left, which means we only have to worry about this part. Because if you've got a number line, to the left of 0 is over here. Well, that's smaller than 0. So this is the only function. We can essentially completely ignore this now, because this says the only piece we're going to look at is this. Well, now we can just, there's no denominator, we can just use substitution. We substitute 0 into that. 0 squared is 0, 0 subtract 1 is -1. And now, because that's the only part of the function of f of x that we use, then to show the evaluation piece, you say the limit as x approaches 0 from the left, and you use this function that you substituted, and you put what the limit is equal to. So let's go on to the next one. Now let's look at it from the right. Well, from the right is always going to be greater than or equal. So now all we care about is this function. We can ignore that function. If we substitute in 0, 0 plus 2 is 2. So now we just rewrite the limit as x approaches 0 from the right. And instead of putting f of x, you actually put that right-sided function. And that height, or that limit, is equal to 2. And that's it. That's it for piecewise. So if it's one-sided, you pick one of the functions that is being described, and then you use that function as part of your answer. That's one-sided. And remember, for the original, if the two heights do not agree, you can't put both of those functions inside. So when you rewrite a non-one-sided limit and it's piecewise, you just put, here, remember we're not doing one-sided, so I'm going to erase that now. That's when you just put the limit of f of x is equal to does not exist. All right, that's it for this one.